That's it. We are back. So sorry about that, everybody. My internet just threw me off. In fact, I did have internet, but my internet threw me off. And yeah, I'm very sorry about interrupting David and Kevin talking there. And then we were live for a little bit, weren't we? I know what it does. It's live for about 5 more minutes and then it donks. And if I'd known that it was just because I thought I went downstairs to look at my box and my box was on. But anyway, so sorry, we're back. So, David, do you just want me to repeat the message again?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. We had a 9-minute cast, and I that much has happened since. Believe it or not, I've forgotten everything. I'm a blank, fresh sheet again. So yeah, we'll go from the beginning. You will just read us what the scenario was, and then we will comment, contribute, and whatever afterwards. Yeah, and anything you picked up on about how they felt, how it affected certain areas of their lives and things, and yeah, we'll crack on again.
Yeah, and just to explain on the panel, if Flat Earth Dude has joined us now, obviously Kevin's here, who works with David, and our Patricia's here, and obviously me. Cheers. And welcome back, everybody. Hello.
Hello.
Right.
Hello.
Hello.
How we doing?
Well, we're back on. Just behave, computer.
I'm driving in my car, so I'm going to mute a little bit. I'll be back.
Okay, right, dude. So basically, this friend got in touch with tax credits in July, wanting to know what happened because her daughter was leaving education, so something was going to change. So you can get working tax credits and child tax credits. So they knew that the child tax credits would come to an end. But the person on the other side, because the question got asked, what do I need to do? Do I still get it and all that? And they said, yep, you do, and basically you don't have to do anything. Just carry on. Just your child tax credit will be taken off and everything else will be normal. Then this person noticed a little while ago that something was wrong in the bank balance and then realized that there was no tax credits. So he rang up, and it goes from speaking to someone to a manager, going to the complaints department, and then a manager. And basically, it's all noted there that the person in July told my friend that it's all written there. They didn't have to do anything. The tax credits would continue. But that wasn't the case, because the area they live in has turned into one of these universal credit areas. So basically, I also don't see why the claim for where they were ended anyway. If you've got child tax credits and working tax credits and they were paying it as tax credits, why not wait till the end of the financial year then and then do it, whatever, like, why suddenly it just stops? Nothing, one bit got taken off, but the rest was still going. But supposedly about December, said they were bringing in this universal credit thing. Anyway, so by the time they've got to the manager has admitted that it is their fault, that they have completely given the wrong information. But basically, because this person now is not a customer of tax credits, there's nothing they can do. And now there's weeks difference between when it stopped, September, to now. You've got that place admitting that it's their fault and there's nothing you can do. But I myself spoke to somebody who works in a Citizens Advice Bureau just by accident, a person remembered they worked for the Citizens Advice Bureau. And they said basically that with this universal credit, there's supposed to be a liaison between tax credits and the universal credit, where they're supposed to help people who are on tax credits go over to the universal credit. And then also they can offer 2 weeks payment. It's not really one you can have. What it is when the other thing comes into work, then you're going to have to pay the 2 weeks back. But at least there's 2 weeks money offered if you're desperate right now. Well, none of that was offered to my friend. And now those people have said, well, it's nothing to do with us. I might just think it's quite disgusting.
It is, yes, it is disgusting when we are as king, the settlor, and the other positions of which we speak about so often. So, yeah, it's I let Kevin speak because I speak enough. I speak too much. Kevin, you can comment, brother, by all means.
Well, if that, first of all, the first way I'd attack it is by pointing out exactly what you just said, which would either be writing back to them saying, well, under the whatever it is in legislation or during this period, this is what you should have done. Why was that not implemented, etc., etc. So pulling them up on their own rules. I mean, if that, if there's meant to be some sort of liaison that you were never told about between them to make this transition happy, and they never put that in place, then it's they're liable. Surely, that's the way I see it.
Prize Bureau person said to me today, just said it's poor training. That they obviously hadn't trained people, and then they're giving out wrong information. Just to say one thing, they offered this £100 as a sorry, but they could not pay compensation or make the difference up between the weeks that person's missed. They said, well, it's public money, so we can't do compensation. But that person asked repeatedly, are you going to help me go, you're going to write a letter or anything for, they just said they just didn't want to know.
No, because the trouble is they take liability, so they're not going to put anything in writing to you. They might say it on the phone and offer you this, that, the other, but it would never, you're never going to get them accept liability. This is part of their game, unfortunately.
Yeah, because lest we not forget now, we have the new findings that sisters and brothers are about to have behold unto them of the agency relationship and a private corporation. So the whole game gets shifted because the word customer was used previous by Karen when she was reading out them notes made. Customer, we can't. Wait. Yeah, we can't help you because you're no longer a customer. So then man would go, okay, the Consumer Credit Act, let's go there. We go public law, we'll go contract law, we'll go employment law, we'll go Consumer Credit Act. But wait, there's another way.
Non-full disclosure.
But wait, there's yet another way. We have another new process that's on the new horizons of Sun and Moon and SPO's Pro. And Kevin, you can take it away, brother, as how we interface with instruments and what is it, status, standing capacity.
Yes, we take we take like the straw man and the man, the actual flesh and blood man, which you can do. But what I've done, as I say, with the assessment side, Dave, is that what you're getting at, Dave?
Well, yeah, that's like the assessment side. We could cover that first. Yeah, we could go through an assessment. Let's use that as an example. Yeah, go on, and respect. Yeah.
All right, so you get the assessment system now with disabilities. What are they called? WCAs.
Work capability assessments or something.
David.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Dave.
We're all at ease. Just relax. It's at ease with no pressure. It's just a casual chat.
It's my brain.
Don't worry, man. Relax. It's all good.
Once we realised that these entities we're dealing with are all private companies, they're nothing to do with government whatsoever. So once we discovered this, then we started using UK rule, UK contract law, etc., because that's what we're under, and that's what the game is. So basically, I challenged the people that wanted to assess me. That's how it started with me. I said, "Who are you? No contract. Go away. If you keep writing to me, I'm going to charge you money and blah, 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 and section, all sorts of things you can do." But they ended up sanctioning me, but I won the tribunal easily, blah, blah, blah. And then a friend of mine went through the same process, but this time we were using we'd understood and started to use conditional acceptance. So when the company called him, I sent him the letter saying, "Oh, you come for an assessment on such and such a date." We sent a letter back saying, "Thank you very much for your kind offer. We conditionally accept your offer of assessment on the ground on the following conditions, if you like.
Very important. That it's very important, Kev. That conditional acceptance in law. That's how you must. Sorry to interrupt your train of thought there, and I won't do it again. But you don't argue it. You don't accept it. You would to keep clean hands. And one of the secrets of all this game is that bit there, that conditional acceptance. It really is.
Yeah. It's about, as I say, Dave said, it's about keeping clean hands and being in honour. So you don't just go, "Who are you? I'm not going." You don't do that. You say, "Okay, that's absolutely fine. I'll submit to your will if you provide certain information to me." There's lots of stuff. I won't bore you with it, but you can say, for instance, "Can I see your license to trade in England? Can I see all your BMA registrations of your assessors?" Because anybody that assesses anybody in England has to be registered with BMA. Etc. etc. You can point, there's so much of it, and so you remain in honour. So what our process now does, if you get asked for assessment, you send this letter, depending on who's running your area, but you send the first letter. You don't go to the assessment because they don't respond to your letter, so you don't go to the assessment. Then they send out a form called a BF223. Which says, "Why didn't you go to the assessment?" And we've got a second letter that you then send out, which says, "Well, you haven't responded to the first one." By this time, people are on schedules of fees and Section 10 notices, GDPR, everything, and they just basically walk away and leave you alone because they know you know the game, and that's all it's about, is using their rules against them. That's all we're doing, is going, "This is what the rules say. This is what you say you work under. This is what the rules say. You are not conforming." So we force them to default, and it leaves you clean hands, in honour, and basically all the people we've used the process on have now had letters saying no further at all, groups, and some of them had a little bit of back pay and stuff. So generally they'll just get left alone now. They're untouchable because we told them we know what the game is, and we put, you want to write to us as a private company with no power, then it's going to cost you 1,500 quid every time you send me a letter. And if I have to respond, it's going to cost you another £3,000 on top of that. So every time you write to me, I'm going to bill you for £4,500. So that's the sort of process, and it's totally legal and lawful. It's just what they do. But
Business,
they don't like
isn't it? Customer. Sorry, you're a customer. We can't help you.
Yeah.
Well, these customers are pissed off, and we're sorry to swear. I retract that. But no, I like to speak frankly. We are, man. We the men, the woe men, the women, the men of the womb are really angry now, and we're not going to go out and incite violence. What we've done is we've got the remedy for 90% of life's problems now. We didn't used to have, and we're not experts in anything. But what our technology has shown us, and I have had a private chat with Santos the other night, and he did say to me that we have excelled in our knowledge. This wasn't something I'm going to keep private. I've used his work, and we've paid homage to that like you guys have, and we'll move on swiftly. But we are at a cutting edge here now with the glossa, the dogma, the Latin, the liability, the relationship, and the ships that we're on, the contract ship, the stewardship, the partnership, the investment ship. These ships, and we've had enough of them. The people have been bonded, biblically bonded, we might add. Andy Sovereign Smith, enter later on, but we've covered that. And what we've found is that you have a data self, a bit like that advert, boys and girls, Famalan, where it says, "Here's David or Dan and his data digital self." And what Dan doesn't know is there's a digital, and that's what we've done. But before Dan came out, and you can have the power, and much like he says on that game show, the power is what Kevin and I and SPLspro.com, the Sovereigns, the admins, Smithy, and whoever else wants to join this band of merry men. We're going to put the power back in your hands, and it will take us no more than 2 minutes, and that would be to tell you who you are, to know thyself and to cognize that there's a legal system out there, and man can never interact with the legal system. And there's a Bible out there that says that God gave us the 10 commandments and the covenants, and man and all the brimstone and fire and hell and, you know, angels and Nephilim and people turning to stone and seeing the future and prophecies and the, you know, the sun and, you know, everything we know about Jesus. And then we've got the legal system again. And then we've got the Bible, and it's like, well, where do we go? And man cannot interface with the legal system. One, because God says no, and number two, because the legal system is for our persons. And Kev, can you please explain to the family the beauty about having a person? You said it before, reference water and dry land. He was like, ooh. Which one?
Oh, yes, exactly. So as long as you recognise, you know, your person for what it is, your birth certificate, if you like, you can, you know, that your person is the beneficiary. You're the set law in this equation. You can have a foot. You can, you know, you're dealing with the straw man. The straw man's the one getting the claim. The birth certificate's the one that's claiming the benefit. But you can stand in both sides. In effect, you take up, if you understand trusts, in effect, you're taking up two positions. Your person's taking up beneficiary, and I, man, am taking up set law. So it only leaves trustee for whatever fool wants to step in there. So
government agent, fiduciary capacity.
Yeah, whoever wants to see it, jump in the trustee seat and have all the liabilities that come with that. Thank you very much. So, yeah, just to finish off. So what's happened with our involvement with SOVs is we've cognised what they say. We've understand, as Dave says, the glossa, how we write, you know, all the lowercase, all of this sort of stuff, so important. And you're actually stepping into a certain jurisdiction by using it. It's very powerful. But the most, in my opinion, the most powerful thing has been, and I've learned from sovereigns, Andy, Dave, etc., is the way we sign stuff off now have been very powerful, because I sign off as the living man, interested third party or sole agent in office, if you like, of the all caps name trust, and then, you know, UCC, all sorts of things we throw in after that. But that's how we sign off. So I'm beneficiary and set law for this, for the straw man, basically, and it's very powerful, very, very powerful. I say one of our 2-letter processes. The first time we used it, it became a 1-letter process. So, as I say, it's not involved, but I don't want to go mad about it here. But it's all very important. We've learned so much from SOVs, and we're seeing the results. So, as I say, you can have a foot. You could, you know, you go and get your entitlements. Don't call them benefits either. That's a cheat. They are entitlements. You can go and get your entitlements, and that's what your birth certificates get in, because that's who's registered on there. But you're not it. So you can stand outside of that as well, which is just a beautiful position. You say to take up 2 positions in a trust is an excellent move.
But for the family, it's like your surname is an estate. Your surname, right, it is an actual estate. So when we say trusts and estate, the estate is the surname, and we've explained about the capitalization of that and the language and the style and the Italian and the ancient Latin, everything. So what we've got here is a legal situation of which you're not told about, where you're running an office, and if you look at your birth certificate at the bottom, there is a warning which is called a public disclaimer from the Crown City of London, not the London we know, but where the London where the London mayor presides over. This is a different London. We've explained it before with the control system of the Crown, and that is the agent office there. They live there. There's a square mile of London in there, and that's where they rule from. That certificate is issued from there. That's the Crown it represents, and that disclaimer tells man, you are an idiot if you call yourself by this. And what we did is we got to the age of 18, and we went to the bank and wherever, and they said, have you got any ID there, sir? And we went, no, I'm 18. I've been told to come here by by my school, you know, advisor, and set up a bank account, get a checkbook, and get ready for commerce, you know, and maybe an overdraft if I'm lucky, you know, if I'm lucky. And we did that. And he says, okay, I need some ID. I says, well, I've got, you know, a few comic subscriptions, or, you know, this, that. Have you got a birth certificate there? He asked me, have you got a birth certificate, a passport, or anything, you know, such as? I went, well, yeah, no driving license, I'm afraid, no. And passport, no, I'm poor, you know, I can't even afford to pay attention, you know, so that's how poor I am. So no passport. And do a birth certificate? Yes, I have one of those. I'll take that, he said. Enticed me in, and I didn't know, you know. And once a bank manager takes something of that, you know, stature at the age of 18, what's man supposed to think? What's boy supposed to think? You know, oh, well, that's the way to go then. If it's good enough for the banks, it's good enough for anyone. Go on.
Dave, doesn't it say right across the birth certificate not to be used for ID?
But when you're 18,
so what's the back,
and
so
you don't
surely
know,
that's the bank manager's frauded it.
Well,
Initio.
yeah, he's asked for it. They've asked for it. Yeah, the account, you know, advisor. So at school, indoctrination camps, why don't we get taught this? Because it's the secret of our demise, of man's bondage and enslavement. David, why don't we get taught about money and this stuff that you talk about, and the bills of exchange and transfer by endorsement and estates and the key at the age of 21 and all this other? Well, if they told you that, you know, then the stories in the Bible and the scriptures that, you know, the word of God tells you to do wouldn't be so, you know, it's their own, man, that Bible and stuff is the hand of man writing it. It's a manuscript, as we've said. So we've got all these systems running of religion and money and language and control, and we've cracked it wide open. And these agents is what they are. They're operating as our slaves. They're the slaves. We are the creditor. David, creditor. Debtor is Giarmita. Thumbprint is autograph, and that's how you are man. You want to prove you're alive, everybody? Get your thumbs in some red ink, put them both down at the bottom of a document or a notice, and then sign again, or put by, and then put just a Christian name of the estate, of the family, of the tribe, of the clan. When you are filling in legal documents, you need to use your person to get that, because man doesn't get recognized in any of the legal systems, your person does. But the strange thing is, they ask you to sign, and because you sign, you think, oh, it must be me because I've signed it. Well, it isn't you, it's your equitable asset. And that's, you know, the key bit there that we didn't get told as free man, and as such other things, lawful rebellion, lawful dissent, you know, lawful excuse, pink hippopotamuses, whatever the gangs and clans and things are calling themselves and doing. We didn't know that we're all walking central banks. And the things that have kept us back is the language, the cognition, the etymology, and the monarchy and the crown to some extent. You'd argue, yes, here, yeah, sustained, I hear, you know, and we've got these answers because we've delved in, and we're one of the only families or trusts and, you know, movements, Renaissance, that actually go out and try this shit before we come out and tell you about it.
Yeah.
And because we try it, and we know, that's why we're moving forward in leaps and bounds, because you don't come out and claim you got a remedy until you've actually done it several times over and it's been successful. And when we've done that, we can have the privilege of bringing man like this to you and saying, Kevin, you are a living legend, brother, and we love you.
Oh, so it's been great. Say, you know, everything we've done great. My friend Graham, who we both went on a slightly separate journey, you know, two different angle journey, but one after the other. So we've got involved with each other, and it, you know, so we've used all this tech on ourselves, but it's been improved recently with what we've learned from in sovereigns and what we now cognize and in a stand, if you like. So that, you know, the way we're signing stuff off. But you know, as I say, we were the guinea pigs. We're not just coming along and going, oh, this is an idea. What, try this? We've done it. And I say we've refined it on the way, and we've now got it to a point where if you basically get an assessment appointment letter, you'd send the first letter of our process. You won't get a response to say you'll get this other form sent to you. You send the second letter. That'd be it. No sanctions, nothing.
Absolutely none. Oh, go on, Flat Earth.
No, I just want to say thank you for doing all this work, man. I don't have time, and I appreciate you guys doing that, man. That is absolutely astonishing. Thank you.
You're welcome. This is all over the
Thank
place.
you.
This remedy is not just Anglo based. What we do, the next thing that we can announce is, well, the beauty of what we do. And as I said to Brother Santos, and is a fine lady, and I've given him some advice on a private Skype chat for 2 hours the other night. I said, the beauty of the law that we use is that we don't need legislation, statute, act, code, mandate, even to some extent scripture, because what we do is auricular. We testify, we go to a hearing, you might get a sentence, you get booked. Hello there, hello, there's a clue in the language. I'll say it again. Hearing, sentence, booked, you might get, it's just very, very strange how it all works. And we've looked through it. It takes a dyslexic, ADHD, indigo, crazy bunch of family members, I'm afraid, birds of a feather, they flock together. And what we do is we analyze, and we've overanalyzed, and then we've come up with some kind of sub-routine program within the program, and we've checked it out, and it turns out that it works on any continent, because these Temple Bar Mother Hubbards have hijacked something what was once brilliant and lovely, and everybody shared in it, and it was wholesome and it was good. 2,000 years ago, everybody they weren't like we're told they were living. They lived great. They traveled the world and they shifted megalithic blocks around for fun. Do you know what I mean? They fucking shit you not. They moved and they went and told everybody, and they did wow. What they've hidden from us and what they've made us believe are two very different things. And our reality is based upon faith and agents and principles. And where Sister Karen has got that complaint, I can step in and say, for anybody on any continent, when your fiduciary trustees, the principal trustees we'll call them, that act in the fiduciary position, they act in a public office. So we attack them with public law. But what we say is the man has suffered a tort, or has suffered something, and we'll say that because it's a legal infraction upon a man's rights are a man's rights, and he hasn't submitted them. He remains with his unalienable, unalienable rights intact. And these words like trespass are biblical words. Trespass wasn't made up by Ice-T in the 1990s or by Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. You don't trespass on my shit, I can't. No, it's from the Bible. It's a biblical actual. I'm like, shut up. Jesus kicked out the bankers and the solicitors, and because of usury. What's usury? What's serpent's got to do? Usurping, usury. And I'm like, what's this? Bankers? What do you mean profit and tax and interest? Well, what? It's bad to make. You lend someone some money and you put interest on it. You curse. Well, right. You're not supposed to. Oh, and that's what we do. Oh, and the churches do that. And it's just like, hang on a minute. We've been set up royally by the house of God, by the monarchy, by the dictionaries, by Hollywood, by the schools. And there's nobody that isn't guilty in this ploy, I tell you now, which is why we've only got ourselves to rely upon and to listen to and to trust, because that is the only currency that we have left. And these know it. And the trust system that we run upon is run by man in personam, and these are in office in a corporate facility. So when man comes in personam, it's like the old Wild West films where he goes, I'll take you at a shootout, and they go through the cattle doors or whatever, the ranch doors at the bar, and old Clint goes out with some gung-ho, or Lee Van Cleef and Clint Eastwood gunging it out, and bam, bam, bam. That's what we're like. We're at that stage now. It's we've had enough. You know what I mean? We'll see you at court, is what we say. We'll put a lien on you. Are you prepared? Are you insured? Are you legally trained? You haven't signed that. Where's the liability? Whose liability is it upon? We call upon it in personam as the man for damages to an estate, which would be the surname, and it's very powerful.
It is, it really is. So to pull their own rules on them, it's absolutely fantastic, because half of them don't even know what they are.
Something. How does it work when they say, well, it's nothing to do with us and there's nothing we can do? How does that work?
We compel them to fulfill their duties. That's what we do in a nicely worded letter. That's how I would approach it at this point.
Well, even obviously isn't a customer of theirs anymore.
Well, that's according to them, but this is a screw up by them. It appears, if the legislation or whatever regs or whatever it's called, the customer charter says they should be helping during the transition, you know, this thing you were never offered during that any transition, and they haven't done that, then we go back and say, well, everything you've done is void because of we'll probably find several other things they haven't done as well. That's the thing. Once you start looking, it's easy to find. So
breach of duty,
that's the approach.
failure, breach of duty.
You've got to find where they failed and go back and point out where they failed, and then show them what they should have done in their own legislation, regs, say customer charter, whatever you want to call it. If it says that's there and they're meant to offer it and they didn't, that's a failure. So that's where you go with it. You have to sort of, so it's a little bit of correspondence, but it's not you know, it's not rocket science. Could rattle something off to them saying, well, can you explain this, that, and the other? They'll probably come back with some nonsense, and then we'll knock them off their perch. But quite often you can get them to change what they've done, but if you don't point it out. But I think it'd be relatively easy to certainly get into some correspondence and point out the wrongs that have been done.
You could. Don't forget, in these organisations, the secret of our technology is the chief executive officer, and because we're in a military setup here, it's a military gang, and it's got officers and chiefs. All right, we are the natural chiefs. We are naturalists and nurturists, if you like. We'll take you back to we'll connect you back with God, with the source code, and with the correct honourable way. And it's simple to officers and agents will turn you into the major of this army if you want, an unarmed major that has the final say. That has the authority, and we will give you the authority with the etymology, and you becoming or by doing an autograph and using words that begin with AU, autonomously. Author, authority, autograph. There's four beauties right there, and isn't there? And this is how it works. And when they see that, there's no remedy, right? The system does not have a remedy for man knowing who the F he is. Once we get in your head who you are and what your data self is, Experian, Equifax, credit check companies, bottom feeders, we will teach them that they have bonds, like other prolific speakers have said, and we will let you know that they are with the Securities Exchange Commission, and you can get access to them. I need some crypto kids to talk to me, because I'm thinking about making some kind of accounts online, and when we do the claim of right, we say, and we'll have that bonds and the driving license and everything that's matured. When we move to the private, using mercantile law as the set law, as king in these higher courts, and we'll get gold from the Vatican when we move to the private and claim the estate and say, drop it over there in all of you cryptocurrency, and we'll just collect it all up, and then we'll move on in our own place. And it might be a nice bit of a pipe dream there, but it's a reality of which I try to manifest daily, because the reality is, we have got monies, and these starving homeless and going to food banks and not having food. There's families out there that are working, or that have worked or want to work, but they can't for some reason. And it's generally ill health, because I know the men and women of this Anglo land. I go and work in a very, very diverse city called Birmingham, for those that are around the globe. On the plane, sorry, it's cognitive. And I see them, and they're all the same as us. Black, white, it doesn't matter where they're from, what language, what God they think they believe in, or they're all programmed and running around trying to do what you're trying to do. And it's like, we have to face up to something at some point. And, when I look around and I see the tents and the mattresses and the fridges and people are begging. I threw a man a pound today across 3 lanes of traffic. He was sat at some traffic lights, and I made eye contact with him, and I thought, that's shit, that is proper cold out here. And he was just sat there, and he had a sign, and it said something like, God bless you. And he'd made an effort, and he said something nice. And I looked down, and I seen he'd seen me. And I thought, well, there's now I can do. And then I looked and I thought, there's a quid there. You could lob that to him. I bet you could lob that to him. And this little voice said, go on, lob it. So I did. Because yes, brother. And I lobbed him a pound, and he picked it up, man. He was that desperate. And I thought, that's nothing. That's really nothing, that what I've done. But it made him smile, and he tapped his heart. And I thought, I've done a little bit of good, but that's nothing. We should be throwing, more out to them. We shouldn't be throwing them scraps to feed on. We shouldn't be feeding from crumbs and begging for benefits from liberties and things, because we've submitted our rights away. you know, and we've got a technology here that will deliver us from poverty and from fear. And there's two of the major issues facing this landmass, you know, amongst homelessness and debt collection and asset, you know, theft, equity thieves that we've got. I'm going to yield. So yeah, don't worry, we can kick ass in any realm, and we do it for the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, Karen, we can, you know, I can see an easy angle in there. Say it's going to involve a little bit of correspondence, but, you know, we need them to come back with stuff so we can sort of see where they're coming from and play our attack. But it's no drama. We'll certainly give them something to think about, but I should think you should get it overturned or it's all corrected.
Normally, isn't it when they make a decision, they normally say there's a decision maker or there's somebody responsible. So as I was saying about the military, and before I went on a tangent there, I go back to my original train of thought then. CFO, Chief Financial Officer, CEO, Chief Executive Officer, officers of the ship right at the top. These are chiefs, and these do what they're told, because you can compel them under a thing called the Memorandums and Articles of Association, and in there it should be listed, shouldn't it, Kevin? Special things that we can, you know, appoint them as trustee, and then we can look at using instrumentation in the form of, and we can correct trust relationships and let executive officers and financial officers know that the beneficiary is here and the set law, and we can dissolve said constructed unconscionable acts. Come on, look how much we know. Look, it just pours out even after a full shift. We correct that relationship, and we start drawing on that account in the correct capacity. And if they try to disclaim their duties and say, oh well, that's some kind of trust that I don't want to be involved in. No, I like it when I'm sucking the blood from you, but if you suck the blood from me, then I'm gonna make it. No, I'm not playing anymore. No, it's horrible. How dare you? You know, it's what they come out with. And we just say, well, okay, then we'll see you in court and go to a big house, you know, and we have to then raise a claim and a counterclaim for damages. And we have to say, you've damaged this estate. And that's how we roll, kind of, isn't it, Kev?
Absolutely, it is, yes. You know, it's not just, say, it's as far as you want to take it, really, or as far as they want to take it, because that's ultimately whoever you're fighting. It doesn't matter who you're fighting or having, you know, any sort of interaction with. You know, they just want this done out the way. But, you know, and they'll do everything they can to shit on you. Excuse my French. It's unbelievable. I've even got forged documents here. Forged documents from the DWP where they were trying to insert dates when they sent me a letter. It's so obviously forged. It's unbelievable. I mean, the things they will do to you, that's, you know, but these people take them to task, take all of them to task and charge them. If they're claiming some sort of authority over you, then in goes your schedule of fees. And as David said, then you start sending them invoices. If they're going to insist on writing to you, you charge them. You send them invoices, and those can be turned into commercial liens, which can cause an awful lot of damage. Or you go into the court. Let's take it to court. Let's have it. And you'd be able to produce all this evidence yourself. No need for legal prostitutes. Sorry, solicitors, as they're commonly known. No need for any of those bar idiots. You don't want anything to do with the bar. So, you know, that's where we go with it. But it's as wide, it's as big as you want to make it. If you want to make it into commercial liens and all that, that's a process that can be followed. If you want to take it to the courts, that's a process to be followed.
So now let's rein it back in for something that's practical. So what we realised on getoutofdebtfree.org when I was looking at the CA3 process letters, and I was like, oh, another 3-letter abbreviation for man to remember. Conditional acceptance 3-letter process, CA3. And I was looking at A for V groups as well at the time, and it was like, okay then. So this is thing here, and it says notice to principal is notice to agent. Notice to agent is notice to principal. And then it said conditional acceptance, please provide me and furnish me in set amount of days with the following. And it said subparagraph 1 section A, conditional acceptance of and then it said something else, proof of authority, proof of claim, and all of this. And I was like, oh, so public contract law. And what's notice agent? I've not seen notice agent, notice principal, principal agent. What's all that fancy speak about? And I looked into it. And we looked into it and we got confused. I don't mind telling you. And then we found the triangle. And we went through that window, that merry little triangle window, children, boys and girls, family, and it was excellent. It was the most zaniest trip man's ever been on without taking drugs. I was like, hang on a minute, I haven't had anything and I'm tripping my nut off. My head's fractured. Rewind Bose selector. Rewound it, watched it again, made some notes, rang some people. Don't know what you're on about, Dave. You're off your tits, mate. No, this is coming true, this. And we looked into it, and yeah, that's where we got it from. It's the understanding of this system that we have, where these agents are simply agents, but they're not going to tell you they're agents, and you're in a trust that is called a public, statutory, constructed trust. And that's what we are experts in now, thanks to our due diligence and research. Yes, we have followed some people, some we will name and some we might not, but they've only shown us the technology that man owns, that man was given to. This technology is like mathematics. Nobody can come along like if there was a Vorderman of the beginning of era and say, I am going to invent maths. No, maths was we found maths. Maths wasn't made by man. It's an intellectual, very strange language and processes of which we use in many areas, but it isn't something man created. And trust technology isn't something man created, because it comes from biblical prophecies way back when, from before way back when, from tablets of Thoth and Enki and Enoch, and we've been back to Sumer, Babylonia. We've looked at everything. When we say we've cracked it, we actually mean we've cracked it. And when we get a few more heavyweight hangouts going, we'll crack it even further. There will be no confusion, and there will be a choice for you, and there will be a process of learning, of education, of instrument training, of bailiff defence teams, of community help, and all these kind of things will thrive. We will survive and thrive, mister. Yes, that's a good one. That's true. That's what man needs to do, instead of being victims and freezing and begging and living off crumbs, because that's not us. That's not man. That's not champion. That's not the essence, the image of. Do you know what I mean? What have we been reduced to through this legal conforming system? We are great. We are strong. We've come out of many an era. Look at the history, the empires, the megalithic blocks, the dots in the sky. Shit's gone down, dinosaurs, things, and now we're going to, die by 1,000 paper cuts, like bad little children in cells and be charged for civil little infractions. And we've got all these prophecies and scriptures and battles and wars, and all of a sudden man's going to be conquered and sprayed to death and poisoned via plastic food, and these legal civil big barriers that come around, and they put these programs on late at night just as you go into bed. The sheriffs are coming, and can't pay, will take it away. It's just programming. It's a joke, and you can get out and stand out of it. And we have an honourable, legal, lawful way. And it's the remedy, 50%, is knowing whom you are. And that's what we're saying, and holding to account. Grenfell, nobody went to prison. I'll keep saying it till someone goes to prison, I'm telling you. Northern Rock, economy crash. Kev, do you want to fancy printing some money, mate, tomorrow? Yeah, we're going to make our new currency, me and you. And if it kicks off and the economy crashes, we'll just reference Northern Rock. We'll step out of office. I am not Mr. David Giarmita. This is not Mr. Phillips. These are not the sovereigns you are looking for.
Yeah. Exactly.
It makes my,
not them.
the deaths in the trust, the homelessness. Yeah, these guys are accountable under law. If somebody ucks your it up, then you should uck their it up. But we can't do that because they sneakily step out of what. There's law for us men. We use law. Back in the day, they had swords and horses and such other things, and they was allowed to use it. We used to have pistols at dawn, okay, when we had a disagreement, but somehow we got getting tricked out of that as well. We have rights, as man, and suddenly law comes in, and these laws are here for our convenience. The internet, sister. Didn't your friend say something about having to get credit and be highly inconvenienced to try and get a little bit of money, and felt like they was reduced to something like a prisoner taking photographs to identify themselves, to get some scraps of whatever that they should have been given, but because of this colossal misalignment and that, error, fatal error, they had to go and dance through several hoops and ring phone numbers that aren't free. That's another thing. When you ring these idiots and buffoons up, these things that are the government departments, why are they calling? Why are they making you ring an 03 or 0845 number? Why is it not free? What the fuck is this? We pay all this money out, we pay all these taxes, and we work to our fingers to the bone. And when we need to ring somebody that apparently works for the government for us, we have to pay again. It's just a joke. They do it. They cut us down and they make us pay for it, and we do it. And it's like, well, we've seen enough. We really have.
I agree with that. Yeah. Stupid numbers.
Yeah, that's disgusting. I have got somewhere. I've got a list of 0845s in place of the 0300s. I'll have to dig that out somewhere. But yeah, it covers them all. So that's the thing. Those free phone numbers are still available. They just decide not to tell you about it. Another rip-off. That's because it's all private companies. It's profit, everything. It's disgusting what's going on, how they treat us all.
And then what happens is the phone company charges you as well as the local charge, another network or whatever it is. They do. I don't just mean because you can get cross-network on mobiles. I mean because they do service charges.
Yeah,
that's because
it's a one-off connection fee and all that.
So this is an excellent area to highlight. Hello, commercial intercourse, ding dong, sale, charge, sale, commerce, spending, revenue, commerce, turning, false economy, false markets, liquidity shown where there is no liquidity. Man makes liquidity. We are, the ultimate, provider of, and if you can handle the concept of thinking that you're in an office and that you have a pen, and every time you further use that pen to sign now, you need to think, is this with liability or without liability? What am I signing for and how am I signing for it? Should I be using thumbprints? Am I an agent in office? Am I a settlor, beneficiary, or in fact trustee? How would I correct this relationship? How do I protect my own assets before, somebody comes stealing them off me is another question I get asked. So DVLA, V5 registration, this technology, all of the legal problems that man faces can be solved with trust technology. That's why it was the king's technology. It's the whenever there's a trust, equity, people say, what's equity? It's just to do with money, isn't it? No, it's an inheritance, a dominion. There's minions running around a dominion. I'm quoting somebody here, but I've forgotten who. We'll make sure they get named, but somebody said it to me today. It might have been Smithy, actually. Dominions running the minions running the dominion, and I'm like, wow, yes, this is how it works. And this dominion is ours, and it was given to us because it's a Christian nation fundamentally, whether you're Christian or not. That's what we're saying. We're not practicing the good book for nothing, because the King James Bible and various editions of it have got key verbiage in there for you to understand that a king had written by somebody and when you go to court and you would be asked to swear on the Bible, it will be a crown copyrighted Bible that you swear upon. So regardless, and then we've got the obelisk. The obelisk come from Egypt, and the history and the lineage. This is no nice little thing that you see. Like, it's a place of business and commerce, and it comes from Phoenicia, and it really is so archaic that you can't cognize what we've cognized in this hangout. But rest assured, the problems that we face are now easily solved, and 99.9 problems are solved with this technology, and knowing whom you are and how to compel these slippery little shadowy dressed in black agents of the crown. They're simply agents of the crown or commerce, and they're registered. They have a structure, and they have someone at the top. If Dave and Kevin, Sun and Moon, set up a shop tomorrow, we'll have to have somebody responsible, someone who's going to pay the bills, someone who's legally responsible. There's all these positions, and that's what the government are. The government are there, the Parliament and the Lords and the MPs, the Amber Rudd. Let's talk about Amber Rudd. Let's go a bit political. It's Amber Rudd that's currently at the head of it all. One of the ministerial positions, I believe, that's running she used to be in where before? Another office, the Home Office, was it? Maybe. And they move around, but you go there as well, and you find there are ministerial offices and non-ministerial offices. It does get a bit political, does get a bit deep. We have had to look at the tierage of the court systems and how you go from a non de jure, de facto, non-securitized, and work out what all that means, and go up to a court of a higher, judicial realm, which is a high court, which is still going to commit personage and barratry, and they wear wigs, in sheep's clothing, Mr. Wolf, and they speak legalese. It looks like English, it sounds like English, but it writes like English, but it's another language. And so you're still at a higher court, don't get the justice that man should get in his own venue, which we'd say is a common law court with a grand or supreme jury, of your peers, not strangers. This is not going to be, ever forthcoming. And we've looked at common law, and for everybody that goes, we need common law rule, you need to know that common law is public and trust is private. The trust is superior because there is maxims that govern all this business that we've worked out and had a look at, and there are also assumptions and presumptions in law. So one way to get around the law being an ass is to not be an ass yourself and try to claim you're a public status, because that's dangerous, because the public come with a title, and that title is general. That's the low, the low point of the army, the general public. As we've said, it's a military facility and it's a military organization. You are born in a hospital, that's a ward of the state. You are born under contractions, that's a legalese term and a stupid spell that your baby's born, but man is birthed, and all of this business that they confuse us with, but we're actually born, not birthed. So this is it, and we've worked it all out, and there is no hiding, there is no running, there's no retreat, and there's no surrender. We're moving forward as a family. We have security, honorability, and the big man is on our side. The beacons are on, and we are kicking ass, aren't we, Kev? We are having some good wins, some excellent testimonials. There's loads of stuff coming in, and I mean, some of the stuff gets put up on the SOD site. People, how we interact with people and all the members and everything. It's really moving somewhere now. I think that with the new year, there's going to be some real developments, real big developments. Definitely, we know that's on the horizon. We're involved in a lot of stuff. We've had some little adventures just recently, Dave, haven't we, with some doctors and etc. They can't say a lot about it at the moment, but we had some interaction with them recently, which put them on the back foot. And as I say, we're finding the collective power. Yeah, we staved off. They tried to eject a hospital beneficiary by saying that he was a hazard and a nightmare, and they called security. And we asked a series of probing questions. So if anybody is in one of these military wards, as we've said, wards of the state, check out when hospitals were made, who made them, the military. Military used them first, then they got put onto the land by the boat people. But anyway, the officers in black were called by the other officers, the sister of the ward, and they tried to make out that a severely crippled man was a threat in his own venue as a beneficiary. Yeah, and he couldn't even walk. Yeah, so God knows how they were going to go like this. And what did we do, Kev? What did we do? Well, first of all, we started. They had the security guys outside the bloke's curtain, basically waiting. So we sort of asked. So I asked. One of the things we asked was, "Well, can I have the name of the security company, and I want to see all the qualifications of those security guys to handle that disabled man, and I want to see liability insurance." Well, within 5 minutes, security had left the building. It just went away. So that gives you some idea. It's just knowing what you're asking for. The security left; they were gone. It was brilliant. It was. We was on video. We was having a video hangout in a hospital. That's hard. See, that's the technology we've got. Handsets, Wi-Fi, data. You can have a sovereign paralegal to assist you once we build up this trust fund in the palm of your hand. And we do repel the devil, the demon, the men dressed in black, the big barries, the ones that are coming for the women and the children and the TV and the money, because the family's broken down and dad's got drunk and disappeared and gone off with a younger woman, and there's loads of debts to be paid, and the mum's there left with the newborn baby and a couple of existing children. She's quite innocent, the children are innocent, but Big Barry's at the door now because John Smith has gone and shagged another bird and he's left his family, and his family's heartbroken. She's now taking medication. She's now deemed as insufficient to continue. The state swoon in with Big Barry. They scoop up the kids and take them into guardianship. Oh, be wary of that dark ship. You don't come back from that MK Ultra twist of neurological God knows what. And then the mum, bless her, she gets charged, and you didn't pay this, and you never mind being mentally ill and vulnerable. The system is a soulless entity that chews through man like I used to chew through bloody, I don't know, Haribo sweets, till I realised they're made of dead pigs' lips and arseholes, sugared up with sucralose, glucose, fructose, coloured and flavoured and sold back to me as a commodity. I'm like, what kind of world is this where you'd boil up bits of dead pig and sell them back to a child as a nourishing sweet? No, thank you. Mr. Haribo, you make me sick. Dunhills of Pontefract and other such companies using gelatine to sweeten children's teeth. You make me sick. You really do. I've drifted and sidetracked, but I'm sure it's relevant.
Yeah, it's all right, Dave. We got it, mate. Oh, dear. What time is it?
Dude, I got to throw a beat behind that, man. Boom.
Yeah, anytime. It's all there free. Take it. Take it.
Nice one.
I might go back and edit something together, man.
Do it.
He was flowing, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was flowing, man. You're flowing, baby.
I'm sorry. I'm just emotional.
I love it.
I'm just emotional. We've got it now. We just need man to listen. It's like, anything.
Yeah.
You get labelled a loony and such things at first, but when you can articulate and get together and you get confirmation and you get wins and successes and magistrates discharging and everything coming through, and we've done the history, the flat earth has been integral to some of this research as well, to be fair, because Copernicus, I say there's a thing in technology with trusts about the 3 C's, the certainty, the objection, and the intent, and so these aren't the ones, but the 3 C's of trusts. And I've gone Confucius, Copernicus and Constantine for my 3 C's of all-time history, because Confucius comes first as one of the great philosophers of I could ever find. Confucius, I urge anybody to research him and watch that film that's been made. That's enlightening in itself, just for man's alphaness about man and the potential of our minds and capabilities. And then there's the Roman, the church, kind of 325, sort of messed around with the Bible, you might say, in the scriptures. When we say manuscripts, Constantine, and then Copernicus was something to do with flat earth. And I was like, hang on a minute, well, flat earth, round earth, geocentric theories, and that's deception. Where we live and the technology that we have should be much more better, and we should know the realm of which we are housed upon, whether it be plane or global. And the fact we don't just makes me angry, because it's like we don't know who we are and we don't know where we live. Those two things are intertwined, are they not? Your home and who you are intertwined. So we have an intertwined relationship, and that's what I recognize. And I'm so grateful for you for having us on and for letting us speak to your family and try and spread the vibration of, this is who we are and this is where we are. You're saying where, we're saying who. No, I'm saying what we're going to do. Sorry. Flat Earth started it now. Oh, wow.
It's nice you're happy, though. It's good.
There is a way out. There's a way out. There's a remedy. Otherwise, it'd be slavery. If it was slavery, it would be massively unlawful. And I think the good Lord would have sent somebody and said, actually, there's certain things I'll put up with, but, Zeus be Jesus and everybody, holy gods be above him. He'd have sent somebody and says, nah, then there's a limit here. I'm the daddy. But, wow, yeah, it's really... it's not nice. We're not proud of what we reveal, and I've had many a time of crying. I will shit you not. When it sinks in and you're serious about this, it does make you think. You think, no, because when Kev speaks and I speak and Andy speaks, folk go away and they research and they go, all right, then I'm not just going to take their word for it. I'm going to do what they said. I'm going to check some of this out for myself. And then we hear back from them and they tell us, they're like, well, this is horrible. I thought it can't all be true, or you've got some of it wrong, or if it was right, somebody before would have done something, wouldn't they, Kev? Somebody would have done something before.
Surely it would have been sorted out. Oh my God, don't you get it?
Yeah.
It's hard. It's a hard thing. When I first realised the scale of everything, the scale of all this massive fraud and everything going on, it really makes you angry. It certainly made me angry. And that's one thing that I really had to deal with first, because you can't go around dealing with any of this stuff in anger. You say you've got to try and be in honour and just do it professionally, or as professionally as you can. Choose your words carefully, etc. Especially once you start to understand what words mean. You read any post you get, you see it in a whole different light once you've got a little bit of knowledge about what certain words mean.
Yeah, forms,
yeah,
letters, notices.
Little things come in where they want you to sign in boxes and stuff like that. No. It just opens up a whole world. Even letters you'd normally read and go, oh my God, oh look, I've got to do this, that, and the other. You'd look at it again, you go, oh, actually, no need to react to that so badly. Let's have a little think about that one, because you see the language they're using in a different light. So I say the whole knowledge thing, all angles of it just benefits all of your life, really. Just you look at everything differently. You have a better idea of what you're getting into, if you see what I mean.
And you've said something there about anger. So all of my life, since the age of television in David's brain, all the things I used to watch as a child, Monkey Magic, I thought was excellent. Chinese bloke making a cloud appear with Tribitaka on a horse. I'm sorry for the youth out there, but I'll reference some of that in a minute. But the things that I watched and on a Saturday. Yeah, Giant Haystacks and Shirley Crabtree, which was Big Daddy, wrestling and fighting. There was boxing on. There was the A-Team, which was highly explosive, loads of guns. Nobody ever died in it, do you notice? But it was highly military. Colonel Peppered, Mr. T, big gold chains, Murdoch, and the things that they did and what they made and all of the way that it led your mind. And then you had like Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan at the time, and wow, all these Operation Flight of the Condor. There was all the hack and slash films. Freddy, oh wow, that went through from 1 to about 9. The Aliens film, James Cameron did a number on me as an 8-year-old when I watched that Aliens 2, and that face hugger come out in that room where they're trapped, and that girl goes, they mostly come out at night. No. Mostly. And then you see Bishop getting ripped in half, and then face hugger. I was traumatized by it. So I know about programming, okay, because I Sega, Nintendo, Atari, Game Boy, whatever. I had everything that was going, and I was into it, and I was programmed heavily. Even Star Wars. R2-D2 is one of my all-time favorite creations, and as Buddha said, you shouldn't be materialistic. And I've struggled with how I've been programmed, and I've asked myself, my emotions, my hyperactivity, my ADHD, my character in itself. I've gone in and I've done what we say. When we say you attract outwardly what you inwardly project, we are all like magnets. Okay, and there's another little secret coming up. You've been programmed because if your true magnet was on, your life would be enriched and everything you did would turn to gold. I shit you not. There is a rule. There's a system out there, and we're testing it as we speak. A bit like the TDA accounts, okay? But this one's actually got a reward at the end of it, and it's noticeable, and it will come to you in a truly magnificent way. But you've got a magnet, that you've got a beacon, a light, and you interact. And what this system has done, where we've said before, is you must pray for forgiveness. Why would a creator, someone it's created in the image with the essence, ever get down on their knees and pray or kneel before somebody and not know whom they are in their full glory as the tribunal? And it's like, this consciousness vibration that we're actually going through now is remembering who we used to be, because unfortunately we are a species with amnesia of our history, of our technology, of our language, where we've been, where we're going. Nobody knows who the true God is. We're not sure if it's round or flat. Who am I? Jackie Chan's film, Who Am I? That's an excellent film. If anybody likes Kung Fu and you're old school, and you ever get bored, search Jackie Chan, Who Am I? That's an excellent film, and it's kind of on this thread. So, it's prolific here, and we're at a turning point for man as well. We have the technology to take us through, and we're trying to build .coms and facilitate hangouts and have hospital hangouts. First one I've ever done, and it was excellent. They said they pushed us to the limit, and they said get the trustees on the phone, didn't they? So we had to attend. It wasn't like we were showing off.
Yeah.
And then we had to address doctors and consultants and explain that there would be common law harm, and that we would be drawing upon, what did we say now? We said, if you continue to do this and breach your duty of care, now we have corrected the trust relationship within this trust hospital, which it is a trust. We said to them, notice to agent, everybody, is notice to principal, even though the chief exec isn't here on the floor now. Remember that, Kev? I had to stop. And they started shouting, right, everyone. The doctor got unprofessional in a crippled man's room, a beneficiary's room, after calling us on a hangout. They started shouting and raising their voices. The power of attorney that we had appointed in the room, that was there, that was a family member that was controlling the estate and all of the legal, goings on with the beneficiary that was crippled in the bed, sick, whilst all this bickering was going off, and unprofessionalism in his very ward, shouting his personal data about for all to hear, And I just said to the power of attorney in the room, I said, you need to stop this now, get them to leave. We're going to make a list. And we took control of the room and got them all to leave, and told them they were very naughty, they'd been very silly, unprofessional, and they were causing duress, harm and injury to a sick beneficiary. And if they didn't go, we would start charging them and putting claims for damages in. And one of the doctors said we couldn't do that. Didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly did. He soon changed his mind.
No,
and we told him, So then we threw commercial liens at him, and he went very quiet. He even told, was it the same guy that told us that he was legally trained?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he said he was legally trained. So we asked for his bar number, and he shut his mouth. So he wasn't legally trained at all. So it was really funny to as our threats got higher in response to their actions. How they just backed off, and everything went quiet, and they ran away. It was really quite a thing to behold and to be part of, to be honest.
Yeah, it was truly amazing. So it's just testimony there, test above, auricular from his mouth. He was there with us and some others. So you can do this. Anybody can do this. It's just the
anybody
language
can do it. It's not rocket science. It'll come to you. You pick it up real quick, and you just know how to respond or react, whichever way you want to look at it, and in a calm manner with a bit of knowledge behind you. And it's just so powerful. And knowing who you are just changes everything. Really does. Really does. Change your life.
I've asked David this before. How come that side of the law's there, but the bad side of the law's there? Why is it they've left the good side in?
Because you can't build. Oh, go on, Kev. You can go first.
No, go on, mate. You can jump in there. I'm just about to start coughing again.
You can't.
Sorry.
The de facto non-de jure courts are there, and they are not securitized, and they shouldn't be trading, and blah blah blah, and everything that's been brought out. They are there because they're built on a system of good and goodness, and in common law jurisdiction, we have, in the public domain, we have equity, an equitable remedy running alongside it. The equity of the planet, the equity of your thoughts, the equity of your intellectual property, the equity of your seed, the equity of your future. There's a lot of equitable, entitlements out there for man, and there's many in various forms. So man needs to know how to claim his equitable remedy, equitable title, maintenance and cure as man. And what this system is designed to do is to send the person loop for the eternity until you die. And all right, until you die, that's what it's designed to do. And once in a blue moon, somebody like an indigo gets in that loop, and they go pa-ting, and they spin out of it, and they ricochet off all these walls, and eventually they settle, and they shake their little head, and they go, wow, I'm out the loop. How did I get out of that loop? I've just hit 45 different walls at 100 miles an hour. I need to rethink which of those 45 walls I've just hit in what order, and how I, that's what we've essentially done. Come out of the Matrix. There we go. Wachowski sisters, the Wachowski brothers that made the Matrix are both women. Newsflash, alert, warning. I don't know what to say. Moving on from the sidetrack. The Matrix. We've unplugged, mother. You know, we are out of it. We have now got the ability to dial back into the matrix and see the architect's design, much like Neo and the other cast of that, and we can dance in it with the judiciaries, the employment system, the benefit system, the NHS system, the was not many, the DVLA, the driving, the, you know, the land, and the militaries, the military systems that are out there now. We can, you know, we will be shot and kidnapped if they want to, but, you know, pray God that we get protected, because this is Masonic. Yeah, this is Masonic news. This is, you know, fake news. Well, fucking fake news. You've all got fake lives and fake voices. You know, that's the worst crime. Never mind fake news stories. We know they're fake because they're called stories. There's a clue there. The news stories tonight. What, you thought they were real when we called them news stories? Hello, language. Come on. Sorry.
Yeah, so I remember from the hangout you were on with Martin Kenny, and Josh was writing law, and law backwards is wall.
Yeah. Wall, hitting the wall.
Land, air, water, LAW, law. Land, air, water.
Yeah, and LORE. There's law spelled LORE as well. Yeah, warship, worship. Think of that. The warship of the USS is set out. You know, the USA warship is going off now to motherland Russia and Korea. It's going to, you know, liberate the lands. The warship and the worship. It's just an A and an O swapped, isn't it?
Going to liberate somebody's life from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so every time you say nowhere, all you're saying is here now.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do it. It'll drive you mental. All these words.
So we are coming to 11 o'clock, and I don't need to get off bang on, but I know I've waffled and we've had a delay. So if we've got any chat room comments, is there anybody we could help or assist or take any questions or anything?
Yeah, I can't see any chats or anything. I'm only on my phone, so I've got nothing.
Okay, just ask the chat room. Do you have any questions for David and Kevin while they're here? It'll take a couple. Oh, we've just lost David.
Oh, he's bailed on me again.
Me and Flat Earth Dude and Patricia. Sorry. Oh, there he is. He's back.
He's back, yeah.
Kicked me out. Wow, it happened again. Sorry.
Getting all excited, Dave.
Because you're doing the right thing, wrong thing, right thing, wrong thing, wrong thing. You know, telling, you know, talking about it in public.
We are, all of us are. You are by hosting it. Kev is by being here. You know, the past hangouts, and yeah, we are. You know, we are moving forward very rapidly now, and this is not going to always be as it is. We are changing the structure of things to come with regards to future hangouts. How the Facebook trust is run, and if it's going to exist next year, things like that. You know, we've done some announcements of late. We've got some maybe international treaties, you know, to write a treaty of Declaration of Independence, you know, something like that. You know, sovereign, you know, trust. We might have an expression of a trust to actually get out there. Peace treaty. Declaration of Independence, an expression of a trust to start with, just to start with. That's why I was after Michael O'Byrne-Sear. It's on that great mortgage swindle, not after him, but after a chat. Great mortgage swindle 2. I haven't watched that yet. I'm way too busy and wrapped up with other stuff. But I think I'd like to chat to him.
David, you were telling me about that the other day.
Yeah, I'd like to chat about that. But go on.
There is actually a question in the chat room for you. It's from James. You've met James. He's the one that is. Basically, people think they're giving wisdom, but they're not. All they're giving everybody is their anxiety. There is no wisdom because they're narcissists and they don't understand the laws of anxiety, and they've got the whole place in anxiety. So people think that they're giving wisdom, but they're not. They're just giving them their anxiety.
It reminds me of a David Icke at Wembley video presentation. Here's what's going on. Now go off and enjoy the thought of that. I won't give you any remedy of any kind. Yes, but I'll sell the tickets.
The question is, did the panel ever notice? It's a bit of a question. Did the panel notice all the promises of Jesus are exactly the same as all the promises of anxiety?
I don't know what the promises of anxiety are. I don't recognize anxiety. I've got many emotions and feelings, and I manifest in my mind positivity, and I don't I don't recognize negativity, but yeah.
They think that they're giving wisdom, but they're not. They're only giving anxiety. They've mistaken wisdom with anxiety.
Well, who's that? Any of who? Me and Kevin have. We've mistaken.
James's theory. He's in the chat room. He was the one that asked the question.
Well, getting letters saying you might have broken the law and you might be going to prison and you're getting a committal hearing for failure to pay council tax also might induce anxiety. Having your children or property or assets threatened, or your job threatened, or even not getting any money for 8 weeks because the government chimps have messed everything up, can't communicate properly. They live next door to each other in an office, but yet they fail to pass paperwork on. They lose it, send it out to you in triplicate, make you go doolally listening to a shitty little loopy phone cube music that isn't, you're not very happy, you're feeling quite suicidal as it happens. Anxiety, it's suicide we're fighting here, my brother. Suicide en masse and homelessness. So if you think by talking about that we might induce a little bit of anxiety, well, newsflash, man is jumping off cliff, man is committing suicide, man is beating his family, man is giving up. We went out at the age of 15 and fought a Second World War. Boys went out to war to represent Queen and country and be patriotic in a set up little game there for the elite with the economies and the wars that they play. Again, a disgusting move, but nevertheless 15-year-olds got in and signed up for a war. Do you know how many 15-year-olds would do that now? Not a war, not one would do that, because they are working us. And these little things like anxiety and whatever, yes, they are ADHD. I suffer from a stigmatism that's got a pigeonhole, if you like. Yeah, I just call myself unique. The creator embodied me with energy and passion to do this shit because not many others could. Yeah, call me ADHD if you want. I'll call myself something else because I refuse pigeonholes. I refuse. I break the mold. We exit the matrix. So smoke that with your anxiety. Thank you.
He's agreeing with you, David.
That's good. I just wanted for everyone else, that's how I feel about the general system and the letters and the fear. Deal with it like that. Be like that. Get that mindset. Anxiety is a label. Depression is a label. There are many labels out there. There are many IQs out there. There's more than what we have. You have an intelligence for love. You have an intelligence for fear. You have an intelligence for business. You have an IQ in music, you have an IQ in phonics, you have an IQ in information programming, like our trust's programmer does, G-Star. You have an IQ for hangouts and media and interviews. There are many, many IQs out there. Find yours and utilize it. That's all you have to do. And I'm sorry, I wasn't attacking. I'm just passionate about these labels and stigmatisms and boxes and ADHDs and Asperger's and, oh, God Lord, PTSD, shell shock. They're just legal, acronyms for crimes against man, to be fair.
Fictional names of nothing.
Nobody is born ADHD. Nobody is born with anxiety. I really believe this, and I refute anybody to prove it that it could be another way. I think we're born perfect. Man is born perfect, and then we are molded over time. And as we grow up, we become this way. We take on these chains and our soul becomes heavy, and we become slowly taken away from animals and ponies and drawing and cuddles with mum and dad to cartoons and video games and violence. And you see how the progression goes in their music and going out there, then drugs and alcohol, maybe a little bit of sex, fighting, and then you get a job and hopefully you haven't had a family in that little mess up. And that's what everybody does. We need to break that chain. It's a general, and then the year for me is quite like that as well, a succession of these days of commerce leading up to Christmas, which is an Xmas. And the word X and letter X is a warning in language. We'll point out to you a very prolific warning, and Xmas in itself and goodwill to all men. Well, that's it there. Hello everyone. What did I say? Goodwill to all men. So use your free will and look at men, look at men, women, and then look at persons. And that's the key. The Lord and the creators and these passages use the word men for a reason. nobody on TV or the news ever says the word men. I challenge you. If I was rich, I'd put like something like £1 million out there for anybody that could get me someone in a public office using the word man or men. It will never happen because they're not allowed to, because it's a game. You see, Shakespeare, the world, the stage.
The world is a stage. All the world's a stage.
Yeah, it does feel like we're in a film or something.
Yeah, bad one.
Yeah, because like if you don't get your money and you don't get your credits and you haven't got a family and you're like a rich family, mum and dad, any friends, nothing to sell, where do you turn to now to feed your mouth and children? There will be crimes committed soon. People will look to opportunist thieving. Mums, dads, family members will start committing crimes. They'll go to allotments and start digging up, innocent other people's foods. We'll start doing desperate things, and that's what I envisage coming next, and we need to put something in place. And I don't know, a trust is the logical thing with what we found out and how we can portray it. And if we can invest some kind of, I don't like using these banks though that we have to use. I'd like that bloke's done the Bank of Dave, not because his name's Dave, but because he's made something called the Bank of Dave that may be a bit dodgy, but at least it's independent. So that's why I call out for the crypto kids next, to say, okay, we recognise the banks are all evil and they're connected to Rothschild and Rockefeller and Warburgs and Chase and Levy and is it Morgan and Chase and somebody else, and these bigger bank ones with the Jewish names, funnily enough, as well. It's all true and out there. So we want the crypto kids to come along and help us funnel them gold bars out the Vatican to these digital accounts on everybody's portable phone, and we will do it using mercantile law, ecclesiastical law, man's law. We won't tell you exactly, but we will move using the court system, man from public to private, estates. Then it just needs to transfer. Once that transfer is ready to go, we'll have that gold, put into them digits then, whatever it is, and send over to these accounts. Have you been bummed by your, what do we call them now? What are they called? They captivators. Have you been bummed by your, a government, I was going to say? If so, you need to consider the following,
Yeah, your captors.
You couldn't think of a word that they are like. What are we? We are in a stronghold. I'd say we're in a stronghold. Effectively, we're in an invisible legal stronghold, and everyone wants to change it, but nobody knows how. So everybody wants to do something, but they don't know how, because when they try to do something, nothing happens. Nobody gets to pay for it. So we give up, and we get Stockholm syndrome and Pavlov conditioning.
Yeah,
that's something to research. If you don't know what they are, well, we see it every day. Stockholm syndrome is where you get kidnapped and you sympathise with your kidnappers. Pavlov conditioning is where you try to escape and you get a bit of an electric shock, so you get put back. You try to escape, you get a bit of electric shock, you get put back. You try to escape, you get a bit of electric shock, you give up trying to escape. You just take it then. You take your captivity. And it's like, yes, the mind, that's what we're doing. We try. We do fight for a little bit. And everybody can say they've maybe had a fight in the free man movement for a bit. And then we give up. We think, this is crap. I've lost that. That's got there. That charge is still there. This bloke's still knocking at my door. Why am I still doing this? I'm just going to go and move or whatever, or pay the debts and suck it up and move on. And, you live and learn. And then you get back into it again and think 10 years has passed. Something must have happened now. Come on, we'll get back in. There must be near now. And you get back in. And yeah, it is what it is, We've come to the end, I'm happy to say. I don't know whether it's been prophesied, whether it's biblical, whether it's because it's a coincidence or what. It's just the time is now and we are at the end.
Yeah, there's not a lot of time left. That's, really, we've got to be on top of this stuff. It's all going to be very bad.
Yeah. Does it make it worse that now? Or does it make it better? I don't mean worse because because it is better that so you can help.
When you work it out, you say hello to the consciousness. That's what happens, because when you work it out, you have to go through a series of learning, and you have to go through a series of sacrifice, and you have to go through a series of nights of falling asleep and waking up at keyboards, and your missus shouting at you because you've wasted too much time again helping other people. But you're only helping other people because you put yourself out there and you've got information of which is knowledgeable to help. So you try to help, and then by helping them, you get more confident and you learn a lot more. And then you're like, others come along, and like before long, you're like, hang on a minute, this is going all right now. So, you know, it's just that you learn it, and when you finally see the full picture, as Thoth and the Halls of Amente, I love that tablet, and the Emerald tablets of Thoth say, it's like, wow, hang on a minute, you can, once you've done that, your soul, right, everyone, this is a good reason to get to try to learn it and to get into an area, because once your consciousness is elevated to that much of an ascensive level, a higher vibratory, and it clicks into place, and you see how you've been bonded with the spells and the magic and the legal and the confusion and the assumption and presumption and the ignorance, and you go, and it clicks, and it says that you can never be bonded again, and so then you lose the fear. And to lose, like Buddha said about meditation, you know, Buddha, what have you gained by meditation? Well, not really that much. I tell you what I've lost though: anxiety, bum shankar, fear, bum shankar. You know, I've gained it, and that's how it goes. It's inward development. You have to do it. We don't like talking to ourselves, facing our demons, learning, sacrificing, and that's part of life. And when you do go through those motions, you become a better person, and you get a reward for it. It's just, think of it like that. In the computer game, you get a power up for doing a level. Well, think of life as levels, and you've got a shitload of levels to go through, just like them games, Bomberman, whatever it is, and you got to go through them, and you keep getting your rewards. But in this game, yeah, it's not so simple, and there's no extra lives. Unfortunately, you've got to use your one life and not get, you know, suckered in by the crown and warehoused in a cage and be charged. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, word.
Electricity, isn't it? Electric charged, yeah.
Anyway, you want to kind of finish now, don't you? Thank you to everybody in the chat room. Hi, Bling Bling. Thank you very much, Kenny, for being here, and Patricia, and obviously David and Kevin. Thank you so much for all that information. I'm sure my friend will be happy.
Yes, and you know, if they require any more info, or if your friend needs any help, you know, you can always grab hold of me via Dave or however. On here,
yeah,
you know,
we're gonna go on, Kev, carry on.
I'll be happy to give you some of my thoughts. How's that?
Everybody, we just put a pin in everything. This is where I come into my essence now, and what we'll do is, we've got a video hangout already done called it's on Indi Glow channel, and my honour's Indi, yeah. So if you go to this little my channel and go Indi Glow videos uploads, you'll find recently within the top 15 a DWP ESA 2 and 3 hour hangout, was it, Kev? We've already done this, so it's laid out. You can take this video. This is like an extension of that first video. In this one with you, we've gone a bit of the other side, which is the trustee, agent, principal side, and how all that works with the separation of the person and the beneficiary, settlor, trustee. The other video is more about the interface with the WCA work capability assessment and how to do that. So we've kind of got 2 different videos on the bat here to help out with. So that's for free. But for those that have got the ability and the inclination with what we've said in this video, we have a website, which, may I advertise? Is that okay, sister?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it's www.splspro.com, and that's where we have at present, I think, 328 members. We've got the beacon on. There's a target there to get at least 10,000. Remember, this is the plane, you know, the realm wide web, and so it's not limited to Anglo. America, you've got something like 800 million of you over there. We'd like a few of you to say hello. Australia, I'm trying to break that as we speak now, and on Saturday that might be a bit more easier than it previously has been. We shall see, everyone, if that happens. And yes, that .com there has got a forum that is Kevin is managing. So this man doesn't want to be answering 150 messages and emails a day. He has a life to run, and bless him, he will sacrifice, like I said about the sacrifice and the reward system with the levels up. He will sacrifice an amount of his finite time. So I'm not pimping him. I don't own him. I don't run his time. He makes his own decisions. But should he want to donate some of his time, he's chosen to include that in the forum on the .com, where we will lay out a structured process, and it will remain there, and it can be accessed for the donation of, it's like 12 credits a year, or we've made a system where you can just do it for £1 a month, and you can pay and go. We've we've listened to you. You can just come for a bit and then say actually no, and leave it and cancel it all and go. So that's just at your £1 a credit a month. So that's your 25p a week, and you could come in and have a look. So you're not tied into anything, and it's a matter of trust. So we have means and ways and educational platforms and resource libraries and video, and downloads and chat rooms and messages and profiles, much like Facebook and it's fake news. We'll end it with Cambridge Analytica for me to put the proof of my claim into everything that I say when I say it's dark, seeded, deceitful, dishonest, and it's sucking your data for the 5G war that's coming next year. But we won't talk about quantum warships yet. So I think that's another hangout, but we see what's coming before it's coming. That's our ability as well. You guys help us do that, and we are moving quick. That's where we live. Thank you.
I love that. I love that you said, forget the fake news. What about the fake everything else? Live, who you are, for the fake who you are. I love that.
It's a joke. It really is. It's a joke. Come on, if we're going to talk fake, let's talk real fake. Come on. Fake wigs, fake toupee. Shh. Mother. Yeah. I swear to God. He works for a corporation. It's called the USA Inc. That's who Trump works for. He makes out he's helping America for the USA. I know you want to shut this down. Sorry, sister. He works for a corporation. It's sick. He doesn't work for the men of Washington, the Columbia, the tri-state. It's nasty. It really is. Them poor Indians as well. It's we're duty bound to at least try, because what's coming and what's been done, what's coming can't be allowed to come. This order that they're trying to bring in through the mixing of the sexes and races. No, thank you. We can still do that, but we'll remain individuals if you don't mind, and keep our rights. Yeah, that's the game.
Amen, bro.
Remain individual and keep your rights. That's all I can say.
That's interesting that they're not allowed to say the word man.
You tell me. If I had £1 million, I'd put it on the table and say, let me hear, find me. I bet it doesn't happen. Never. Men. They can't. It's the capacity under the Creator. They're not allowed to. They're under a different Lord, Overlord, Sith, Overlord, alliance there. Like Jedi. Empire. It's an empire. Corporations, empire. Sith, overlords, ships. Yeah. There's no men. Not there. They're just soulless entities that take on titles, and they hide in offices and step out of them when they burn people alive.
I think Patricia wanted to say something. Patricia?
Yeah, I've got a bit quick. Adverts are coming back on, so I've muted it. I'm only joking. I just wanted to say, David, I love you. Fantastic. I'm going to sign up to your website tomorrow when I get my entitlement.
Oh, don't bless you. Oh, thank you.
Because I dare say I'll need your help when it comes to the tribunal, because there will be a tribunal, because they just lie, and I'm going to fight it, as I've done every other one. So I just want to say thank you.
I wish I'd spoke to you a week ago, Patricia. You wouldn't be going to it.
Well, I know David just mentioned today, my assessment's on Friday, so it's a bit too late to put any letters in or anything like that. So if I'd have known a few as soon as I got the letter. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going to... It's
all right. We can listen. Let me know what happens. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Let me know what happens, and I'll speak to you.
Kevin, if we say goodbye on air, but we'll say goodbye to each other off air on the hangout.
Okay. Yeah.
Patricia, is there anything else you just wanted to say on air?
Yeah, just to say thank you, Kevin, as well. I love you. And Flat Earth Dude, I
Thanks,
love you
sister.
too. And Karen.
Thank you, Patricia.
I doubly love you, Karen.
Much
and,
Patricia.
and everyone in the chat room. And thank you for being here.
All right.
And I'll leave you to it now.
Love to you, Patricia. Sister,
Yeah,
see you
back up.
soon.
Yeah, thank you, and to you.
Hey. A big flat earth hug to you all. Anyway, we're back tomorrow with Brian Forrester. So see you tomorrow. Big hugs and much love. Mwah.
Thank you, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.